Space Stone. The Space Stone, the first of the mighty Infinity Stones to make its mark in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, grants its wielder dominion over space itself. To understand just how important this stone is to the MCU, it's the reason Tony Stark was able to create the new element that powers his arc reactor. Tony's first arc reactor was powered by palladium. And as we know, palladium was unstable for Tony Stark. In Iron Man 2, it's revealed that the palladium core in his arc reactor was slowly poisoning him. But after discovering his father Howard Stark's notes on the Tesseract and his theory for a new element, Tony succeeded in synthesizing a new element that replaced palladium and became the stable power source for his arc reactor. This new element was inspired by the Tesseract's atomic structure, and without it, Tony Stark would be dead before Phase 2 ended. The power of this stone is one of pure manipulation. Imagine the ability to fold space and move through it at will. Whether it's teleportation, opening wormholes between distant points separated by thousands of light years, or shifting the very boundaries of the universe, the Space Stone is a gateway to unlimited possibilities. Initially, the Space Stone was encased in the Tesseract. Throughout history, it passed from one powerful hand to another, with each individual trying to unlock its potential. The first known possessor of the Tesseract was the Asgardian gods, but it wasn't until Odin, in an unexplained decision, chose to hide it on Earth around 1409 AD that its story truly began to unfold. The stone was entrusted to a secretive cult in Tonsberg, Norway, where it remained protected for centuries. Fast forward to Captain America, the First Avenger, where the Tesseract becomes a key player in Hydra's war efforts. Red Skull uses its power to fuel dangerous, cutting-edge weapons that almost turned the tide of World War II. Mar-Vell, aka Dr. Wendy Lawson, also possessed and used the Tesseract as the power source for her Lightspeed engine project to help the Skrulls escape from the Kree Empire. But it's in the Avengers that the stone's true influence is felt. Loki, in his pursuit of power, steals the Tesseract and uses it to open a rift in space, summoning the Chitauri army to invade Earth. The Tesseract's role continues to escalate in Infinity War, where Thanos finally extracts the Space Stone from its cube form and incorporates it into his Infinity Gauntlet, giving him the ability to reshape the fabric of space itself. And the most crucial roles that this stone played in the MCU so far was in the events of Endgame. During the Avengers' mission to go back in time and retrieve all the Infinity Stones, they accidentally helped Loki escape with the Tesseract, setting in motion a new chain of events that would eventually lead to the intervention of the Time Variance Authority in the Loki series. After that, Hulk and Tony also wielded the stone. Probably the two most important times the stone was used in the entire MCU. One time to bring everyone back from the dust, and the other to dust Thanos and his allies. Mind Stone. The Mind Stone was the second stone introduced in the MCU, and it remains one of the most intriguing and influential of the Infinity Stones, primarily due to its manipulation of the mind and consciousness itself. Initially hidden within Loki's scepter, it was Thanos who sent it to Earth as part of his plan to prepare for the invasion that would ultimately set the stage for the Avengers' first battle against him. While the stone was encased within the scepter, it wasn't just a simple artifact of power, it was a tool for manipulation. Loki used it to take control of Hawkeye, Dr. Eric Selvig, and others, bending them to his will and helping him invade Earth. This act of mental subjugation was just the beginning of the Mind Stone's much broader impact on the MCU. Perhaps one of the most significant uses of the Mind Stone was its role in creating Wanda and Pietro Maximoff, twins who were experimented on by Hydra, with their powers being a direct result of the stone's influence. The Mind Stone's ability to amplify intelligence and unlock hidden power was fully displayed in the creation of the Scarlet Witch, whose abilities eventually grew beyond anything the stone itself had demonstrated. The Mind Stone also played a pivotal role in the creation of Vision and Ultron. When Tony Stark and Bruce Banner attempted to harness its power to bring life to the synthetic body, they inadvertently created an entirely new form of life, one that would go on to become one of the most complex and compelling characters in the MCU. In addition to its mind-altering powers, the Mind Stone was also capable of generating energy projections, force fields, and powerful barriers. And its most dramatic moment came when Thanos forcibly extracted it from Vision's forehead in Avengers Infinity War, resulting in Vision's destruction. The very thing that gave him life was the same thing that led to his death. Reality Stone, the third stone to be introduced in the MCU. Unlike the other Infinity Stones, which are typically solid gems, the Reality Stone is unique in that it appears as a liquid-like substance known as the ether in the MCU. This stone's power is among the most terrifying, as it doesn't just manipulate reality, it rewrites it. It can alter matter at a fundamental level, defy the laws of physics, and create illusions so convincing that they are indistinguishable from reality itself. Its origins trace back to a time before the universe even existed, making it one of the most ancient and mysterious of the six stones. It first appears in Thor: The Dark World, where it is sought by Malekith, the leader of the Dark Elves, who aims to use it to plunge the universe into eternal darkness. Unlike other wielders of the Infinity Stones, Malekith does not place it in a weapon or gauntlet, but instead allows it to merge with his body, demonstrating its ability to bond with living beings, corrupt its host, and amplify their power. After Malekith's defeat, the Asgardians decide that keeping two Infinity Stones in Odin's vault is too dangerous. As a result, they entrust the Reality Stone to the Collector for safekeeping. However, this decision backfires when Thanos arrives, effortlessly taking the stone and using it to manipulate reality itself. One of the most striking examples of this is in Infinity War, when Thanos turns Drax into cubes and Mantis into ribbons with just a gesture, proving the stone's terrifying capabilities. Power Stone. The Power Stone is the fourth Infinity Stone introduced in the MCU and the only one we didn't see Thanos collect. Initially housed inside the orb in Guardians of the Galaxy, the Power Stone is one of the most devastating Infinity Stones. It has a brutal history, having been used to wipe out entire civilizations. This stone grants its wielder immense strength and unlimited energy, making it capable of disintegrating anything in its path, even entire planets. Peter Quill stole the orb at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy from the Temple Vault on Morag. He clearly didn't know what he was dealing with, as stealing the stone triggered a race between the Ravagers, Ronan the Accuser, and Thanos' forces to obtain it. Ronan eventually embedded the stone in his hammer, wielding its destructive power with the intent of annihilating Xander. Instead of handing it over to Thanos as ordered, he attempted to use it himself. However, in the final battle, Star-Lord and the Guardians managed to harness its energy, something that should have been impossible if not for Star-Lord's half-celestial heritage, and used it to defeat Ronan. Afterward, they entrusted the stone to the Nova Corps for safekeeping. By the time Avengers Infinity War begins, Thanos has already decimated Xander and taken the Power Stone. He uses it immediately, overwhelming the Hulk in a one-on-one fight with shocking ease. Throughout the film, the stone enhances his physical strength and destructive abilities, making him an even greater threat. Like every other stone, the last time it was used was in Avengers Endgame, when the Avengers traveled to the past to retrieve it. Technically, the last time we saw the Infinity Stones was in Loki, but that doesn't really count since they were rendered useless inside the TVA. Time Stone. The Time Stone, wielded through the Eye of Agamotto, is one of the most powerful and strategic Infinity Stones in the MCU. Unlike the other stones, which are primarily destructive, the Time Stone grants its user control over time itself, allowing them to rewind events, create loops, and even glimpse into possible futures. In Doctor Strange, the Time Stone was being protected by the Masters of the Mystic Arts at Kamar-Taj. The first time the Time Stone proves its immense power when Stephen Strange uses it to trap Dormammu in an infinite time loop, forcing the cosmic entity to surrender. This establishes the stone as not just a weapon, but a tool of intelligence and manipulation. By Avengers Infinity War, Doctor Strange uses the Time Stone to analyze over 14 million possible outcomes, identifying the only path where the Avengers could win. He ultimately surrenders the stone to Thanos, a move that seems like defeat, but is later revealed as a calculated step toward victory. The Mad Titan then uses it to reverse time, resurrecting Vision and completing the Infinity Gauntlet before snapping half of all life out of existence. Although Thanos destroys the Time Stone alongside the others after the snap, an alternate version is retrieved during the time heist in Avengers Endgame and later returned to its proper timeline. Soul Stone. The Soul Stone was the last stone introduced in the MCU. It grants its wielder the ability to influence the souls of living beings, potentially exerting control over life and death. Beyond this, it is believed to provide access to hidden spiritual realms, possibly even trapping souls within its domain. The Soul Stone is perhaps the most mysterious of all the Infinity Stones. Unlike the others, which are often found within powerful artifacts or hidden away in temples, the Soul Stone resides on Vormir, a desolate planet guarded by the Red Skull. What sets it apart is the price required to obtain it, a soul for a soul. Unlike other stones that can be stolen or wielded through sheer power, the Soul Stone demands sacrifice. In Avengers Infinity War, Thanos learns of this cruel requirement when seeking the stone. To claim it, he sacrifices Gamora, the one person he truly loves. This moment solidifies the Soul Stone's unique nature. It is not just a weapon, but a force tied to the very essence of existence. Once in Thanos' possession, the Soul Stone plays a crucial role in the Infinity Gauntlet, allowing him to complete his ultimate goal, the snap. Its exact function during the snap is unclear, but many theorize that it traps the souls of those erased within itself. This theory is supported by the brief scene where Thanos encounters young Gamora in an eerie, orange-hued dimension after snapping his fingers, possibly inside the Soul World. In Avengers Endgame, the Soul Stone is retrieved from the past when Black Widow sacrifices herself so that Hawkeye can claim it. After the battle against Thanos, Captain America returns the stone to Vormir, but its fate remains uncertain. Thanos' quest to obtain the Infinity Stones remains one of the most impactful sagas in cinematic history, demonstrating the devastating consequences of absolute power. But now that the stones are seemingly gone, their influence might not be entirely over. Could we see remnants of their power resurface in future stories? Are there lingering effects on the universe we have yet to uncover? And here's a question for you. If you could wield just one Infinity Stone, which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments.